Welcome back, everyone, to the Alumni Association of the Asian Institute of Management Leadership Podcast Series, Season 1. This is CJ Sena, MBM 1988 with
Paolo Balinas from MBA 2014.
All right. In our Season 1, Episode 1, we have met up with a corporate veteran, and Episode 2 had a entrepreneur turned unicorn hunter. For Episode 3, we go back to the corporate point of view with another corporate warrior. Going through her long list of credentials made me conclude I want to be like her when I grow up. Multi-awarded, multi-hyphenated. Our guest today has been with the Metro Pacific Investment Corporation for the past 20 years physically. We will ask her later how many years does that convert emotionally. She is currently the Executive Vice President, Chief Finance Officer, and Chief Sustainability Officer, plus CEO of MWell. With her corporate functions are her active advocacies, Dubai Guru, and environmental sustainability. Now, adding to that superwoman vibe, she is wife and mother too. Friends, let's welcome for an insightful and soulful conversation, June, Cheryl, Shay, Cabal, Revilla, the Catalyst. Hey, hello, Shay.
Hi, CJ. Hi, Paolo. Hi, AIM family.
At last, this happened. So wait, how many years emotionally in Metro Pacific, in MPIC?
Siguro since birth.
Because it's more
Oh,
than
wait.
20 years eh.
Just to clarify, I'm with the MVP group for 24 years, almost 25.
Okay.
20 years with PLDT and Smart, the telco group. And then I was moved to MP group in 2020.
So that's more almost 25 years of being with MVP. That's physically, so emotionally since birth.
Since birth.
Okay, so that's also 25.
Born for this, Siege. Born for this.
Born for this. Okay, what motivated you to study in AI?
To be honest, I think I was in a point in my life where I was closing a chapter and starting a new one
Wait.
because I was trying to mend a broken heart.
Oh, this is nice. Go.
Trying to distract myself. So I said, I quit SGV and then I wanted a new environment and I went to AIM. It was a fortunate incident naman that I ran into a friend of mine, was also in SGV, si Vivian Tan. And she was in AIM at that time with her sister, si Vicky. So, sister tandem sila. And then they asked me, oh, you want to bunk in with us in our condo. So, yun.
Okay, so you took the 2-year program, right? This 2-year program.
MBM 2000.
You're from MBM 2000. So what would be the memorable project or professor or experience or classmate that made such an impact in your life?
Many things. I think what stuck with me the most are the friendships Kasi our batch very active. We have a very active Viber group, so we Viber each other every day. And then the one thing that I appreciate now is us collaborating, working together. Some of us sit in the same mancoms, the same board. Easier for us to work together kasi we go a long way back And then maybe the professors, dami. Siguro sa akin naman, hindi ko makakalimutan yung I was asked to tutor them sa LO.
Tutor?
Oo, language of business. Kasi diba yung accounting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I had to find a way to laymanize and humanize talaga accounting, di ba? For them to be able to understand it. Kasi if you're from a different field, it's kind of difficult and different point of view kasi yung accounting So I had to find a way for them to understand it. And it helped me in my career having that viewpoint where people don't get accounting the way I do. So I have to make them understand it. So I did Finance 101 in many executives in PLDT and in MPIC. So they get already and understand how numbers work and how their functions in marketing or how they interact with finance, etc. So that sort of helped me. And then maybe also my MRR. Uso pa ba yung MRR?
Yes.
What was your MRR?
Oo.
MRR.
Oo. So my MRR at that time, maybe I was one of the last ones kasi to decide who to get as, you know. Di ba we were supposed to get a mentor ba yun? Or
Mentor. Correct.
no, mentor. So I had two. For some reason, I had two. I had two. So one was Mrs. Herrera. She was the CFO of AIM at that time, Maya Herrera. And then the other one was our Japanese professor. I can't recall why I had two.
No, I think
I,
it's normal to have two. I had two as well. Yeah, yeah.
Ah,
kasi most had one eh. I don't know.
I
Ah,
had,
okay.
I had one in the 80s. Siguro madaming professors. Kaya,
Ang
No,
madam.
some of our most of our classmates had one eh. I had two.
yeah.
So
Okay.
and then at that time I was also majoring in finance. I don't know if it's also with you na
Okay.
my major parang focus, di ba?
Yes. Yes.
Focus area. So my focus area was in finance. So my topic had to be in finance also. And then all the topics I submitted was rejected. Kasi
Okay.
somebody else did it, etc. So I had to think out of the box, di ba? I had to submit a curveball type of topic.
Yeah.
And so I was panicking and I was giving up already because I barely had a month to finish. And then I read something in the papers about our Filipino soldiers who were kawawa because their shoes were,
Sira.
parang
Yeah.
sira, not at par with how can they fight, etc. So I was thinking, oh, then there's no funding. So then that gave me an idea. Maybe I should submit an MRR on financing the modernization of the AFP program, parang ganyan. Which I did. That worked because they also used it. If you recall, di ba, they sold a portion of Fort Bonifacio.
Right.
That was part of my MRR.
Ah,
Oh,
Camps in Lanao del Sur, mga
right.
ganyan,
Right.
to help fund the privatization and then modernization. So the privatization was used to modernize the AFP program by selling the properties.
Right.
The funding was used to modernize. So that was my MRR. As an insight naman, parang that pain point gave way to an idea. Di ba? Normally,
Right.
most startups now
Yes.
happen only because there's a pain point
Right.
being addressed. And that's how I maybe saw it, na there was an issue, and therefore I had to submit an MRR, which proved to be okay because when I was doing my defense ba yun? I don't know what it's called now, defense pa rin?
I were valid that. Yeah.
Or
Defense.
revalida or defense. So I had mga colonels and generals who were with me. And syempre, yung mga nag-carry ng mga ano-ano ko, mga soldiers. So yung mga mentor ko, tsaka yung mga mag-a-ask sa akin, walang masyadong questions. Puro lang sila, very good, very good. So yung MRR ko, distinction.
Wow.
wow. Galing, galing. But I'm curious, you mentioned that they actually used yours MRR to modernize the sale of some parts of Fort Bonifacio. Does that include BGC or
I
no?
think a part of BGC.
Okay.
I
So
like
parang
this.
the logic was to privatize, di ba? And then sell some of their good assets and then use the proceeds to fund the modernization of the AFP programs.
That's right. That's right. But I like what you said. Startups come from pain points. Because I know one of the things that you do is you look at challenge companies, you look or support startups. What attracts you to these startups and to these companies that turn around?
I'm not attracted to challenge companies.
No, but MWell is a startup, di
Oh
ba?
yeah. So in the
To
group
support, to support, to support.
So
Yeah.
in the group, maybe in the first few years, I was asked to help out.
Mm.
And then maybe as the years went by, when I sort of gained my confidence and maybe as part of my hat na rin, finance sustainability, di ba, to help the challenged operating companies, I started to get involved. And then MWell was a curveball also because when I was trying to review all of the portfolios of MPIC, so we fixed Lanco, we fixed everything already. And then there was MWell. And at that time, when I came in here, it was pandemic time, diba? And then MVP was asking, oh, where's our digital platform? Is it working? Is it working? We should launch, we should launch. You know him. He's very go, go, go. And so we asked what's happening over there. And then basta may issue, syempre ayoko nang mag-delve into it.
Okay lang.
Mga issues on the people
Yeah.
and the platform.
Right.
And so we had to make it work. One, because the country needed it, and because we also needed to decongest our hospitals because we own Metro Pacific Health, right? Asian Hospital, Atimed, Cardinal, etc. So that was one of our help. And then MVP was also pushing us. So that was that.
So
Okay. Ako, I have a question, Siege, because listening to your introduction and listening to Shay, your career trajectory is very impressive, right? And can you share some pivotal moments perhaps within your extensive career that led to where you are today?
So my background is really accountancy, diba? So I started as an accountant, CPA, and then finance. And then maybe some pivotal moments would be expanding into sustainability because at that time, maybe 15 years ago, sustainability was just a byword. You know, it was not required. Parang it was nice to have. But I felt it was something that was important for us to embrace and to champion and to lead. And so I did it as part of my finance work. And as a matter of fact, I was in PLDT at that time. We did voluntary reporting on sustainability. It was not required at all. But when it was required in 2019, 2020, we were ahead of everybody, right? So maybe that was one. Number two was when I also started getting involved in the many advocacies of the group,
Mm.
because that sort of gave me purpose and made me grounded and made me see the realities of the world, right? Because sometimes when you're in the corporate world, you see only, the four walls of
right.
what you have here. But when you're involved in the advocacies and you're out there in the communities, you're able to incorporate strategies and maybe the roadmaps of what we need to do as a group, as a company, in order to also address the needs of the communities and the people who actually need out there. And then maybe the fourth was in Digitech, which is what I'm doing now in MWell, as part of the health tech digital platform that we're doing, which is also a totally different field, right? So from accounting and finance to
Right.
sustainability and advocacies and I mean digital tech. I mean, who would have thought that anyone would be able to survive in those different worlds? But what doesn't kill you will make you stronger and make you beautiful.
I like that. Makes you beautiful. That's a good one.
Actually,
Um,
what I liked about that Siege is if you
yeah,
noticed with Shay, right? It wasn't just because it was a requirement, but
yeah,
she's recognized a specific
right,
need and took action and the initiative to
right.
actually make that change, right? So very
It,
impressive, very impressive.
it's being proactive.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's an easy climb to the top, right, Shay?
No.
Exactly. So,
Ano naman sa, nothing beats hard work eh.
okay. No, and the reason why I asked that question, as we go up, whether you are man or woman, there are biases that goes, whether it's pressure or, for being boxed in. Were there such biases that you and other colleagues had to go through as you made your career? Oh,
Maybe at the start there was because when I started in PLDT, telco is a male-dominated
okay,
industry,
let's go
right?
there.
So
Yes.
when you sit in the mancom, there's all men, and also maybe because my function then was accounting and finance, and it was relegated as a bean counter. Na,
Okay.
o sige, parang magbibilang ka lang naman ng ginagawa namin. So, ano yung value mo? Parang ganyan.
Okay.
So, I had to learn what they do. So, there was one, I think I always share this in many of the forums.
Go.
And the network head who turned out to be a good friend now, even if he's not in PLDT anymore, and I'm not in PLDT anymore. Parang I was talking to him about mga assets, syempre, accounting ka di ba, in finance, controller at that time. So you're saying, so, anong value mo? You only depreciate the assets and the network that we build, di ba? Parang ganun. Ganun na, parang ganun. So, I prepared myself. So, the following year, I wanted to learn about operations, engineering, and planning, and the network, hardcore tech of telco. So the
Oh,
following year, I was engaged with him on technical things, and that I knew his part of the world and he did not know my part of the world. You know what I mean? So parang I knew better, and that was how I also parang honed myself in the telco world. I just did not box myself in finance. I tried to learn network operations, tech. I also tried to learn marketing
Mhm.
because that was how I would be able to support and enable them. How can I support the marketing or the revenue groups if I don't know the products, right? So I have to learn. And maybe to go back to my point earlier about doing Finance 101 when I was, a junior executive in PLDT, I also volunteered to do Finance 101 in HR. So in terms of the trainings, even if it wasn't part of the training curriculum of the, di ba, may mga
right.
training yan sa
Yes. Oo.
to do Finance 101. And so that was how I met people in PLDT, in the PLDT group.
So there's a lot of learning. I mean, the word learning keeps on coming. It's very important to you, Shay.
It is. It is very important because life is all about continuous learning, diba? You can't just stand still because life goes on and you have to ride the wave with life. And when you go to work, like in my case, in my career, right? I can't just learn and know finance. I have to understand what everybody else in the company is doing because as CFO and CSO sustainability now, I have to be able to understand what everybody else is doing because then I won't be able to write a very good integrated report, right? Because that's a good storytelling of what we all do in the group. In Meralco, for example, in Maynilad, in the hospital, in the toll roads. So I have to understand what they're doing. And again, for me to be able to do my job as finance, sustainability, and risk officer, I have to be able to get into the details of the nitty-gritties of what they're doing so that my inputs will be valuable to them.
The reason I asked that question, or I also gave that comment, is that it's as advice to everybody who's trying to put their career together and how they can become better in their organizations. Continuous learning.
That I think that to me is a basic.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people after they graduate from MBA or college, the learning
Yeah.
stops, right? So it's good to hear that, one of the key ingredients for success really is that continuous their desire for continuous learning. And I'd also like to ask, you go ahead, yours about say
So
something.
continuous learning isn't just about work, huh? You have
Yeah.
to learn the business, the jobs, the roles of everybody else as it relates to you. And then me, after graduating from AIM, I also went to Stanford.
Mm.
I also went to MIT and
Wow.
to ano ba to? The Swedish Institute of Management program. So that's within how many years lang? Because you really have to hone yourself Because technological advancements and many things change. I mean, the world
Right.
doesn't stand still. It's continuously evolving. And if you want to be on top of the
Right.
situation, if you want to be respected, and if you want to have a voice in the table, you have to be updated.
Correct. I have a question. EQ or IQ?
Both.
Where in the corporate level that is the dominant one that should go up, and when you're up, another one dominates? EQ
Well,
or IQ? Your
it,
thoughts?
it's situational,
Ah,
but
Mm.
okay.
as you go up, more EQ.
As you go up, more EQ.
Similar to the MBA answer, it depends.
No,
Right?
no, it's really
Yeah, it
situational
depends.
though.
Yeah. Correct, correct. I think you need
But you
to
cannot have one or the other. You have
Right.
to have both.
correct. You know when to use it, right? It needs to be a blend of both, right? Can't be just purely IQ or purely EQ. It needs to be a blend of both. I completely agree. Yeah.
Okay. Since we're talking about, traits, and let's first talk about key lessons in handling advocacies, because this is not anymore corporate functions, it's advocacies. So what are your key lessons in handling advocacy aside from becoming a reality check for you?
Advocacy kasi to me is something that we need to do Kasi to me, kindness begets kindness. You know what I mean? It's just the natural karma of life.
Okay.
And there's a multiplier effect. If you impact a person or community, they also impact a person or communities outside of themselves. And that would trickle a multiplier effect. And maybe, it could be a catalyst for a better world or a better country, diba? So I think everybody has to start being kind. and to enable everybody. I think at the end of the day, if we uplift people, we also uplift ourselves. That has always been my thought. So as a group in terms of our organizations, diba? If we're able to help others, uplift others, then they translate to customers who are able to pay for power, water, toll roads,
Right.
etc. Right?
Right.
And as a on a personal basis, as a mother, most Filipinos are educated and are not hungry. Then there's less criminals who steal, who kill. You know what I mean? So we have a safer world, not just for ourselves, but for our children.
Correct. So it's a bigger picture, the bigger purpose.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was
All
actually reading one of the articles written about you. You highlighted the four P's, right? Profit, planet, and even purpose, and people, of course, right? So I think that resonates well with what you just said, right?
But it assumes that the corporation has the same mindset, right?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you really
Yeah.
have to care. Kasi for
Yeah.
example, climate change,
Yeah.
diba? Why
Mm.
would you not care? Like when a category 5 storm hits, it doesn't just hit the poor,
Right.
diba? It hits the rich. It doesn't just hit the SMEs. It also hits the big corporations. So
Yeah.
everybody gets flooded.
Right.
Diba? So
Right.
the answer or the collective responsibilities with everybody. It's not just with the few.
Okay. Let's pull back. Learning, still on learnings, but this time I've heard EQ, IQ, learning, any other traits that you can advise our listeners and viewers on, succeeding in the corporate world. Other inputs?
I think the very basic is finding your center in God. I mean, that's very basic. Kasi I cannot attribute anything, any of this,
Yeah.
anything of where I am, of what I have now, if it's not out of God's grace.
So there's a spirituality that has to come in also, aside from the functional competence and all that other.
Because that's how I see things also. I
Yeah.
don't only see things in a physical realm. I also look at things from a spiritual
Right.
perspective. And when I see things, I try to see things not just through my eyes, but through God's eyes. See,
Eh,
does that sound weird?
No,
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 that
actually,
sounds deep. I mean, really, it's not a typical corporate conversation.
yeah. Actually, they even consider IQ, EQ, and even SQ, right? Spiritual quotient. Yeah, correct.
All of the above. Check, check, check.
All right, let's
Me,
go.
me, me, Cheech, I have a question.
Sure, go.
Doing this podcast for our third episode, right? We've heard a lot about successes. And I think one of the key things that resonated well from our listeners is talking about failure. So we talked about your successes, but maybe if you could share, right? Are there any failures that you've encountered throughout your career that really had a huge impact, as well as, how did you overcome this failure, or how do you manage stress, right? I think a lot of our viewers would be interested to learn
And still look great.
and still look great.
Failures, maybe some, but see, I cannot recall because I don't dwell in the failures too much. Oppressions, many. You know what I mean? Yeah, there are many.
Right.
Because remember, I said I don't just look at things from a physical perspective, but from a spiritual
All
perspective. So
right.
if God has a purpose for you to help people and to save a soul or something, then there's many
Okay.
things that will, but you have to fight because you have to choose a side. There's no such thing as being in the middle. You have to choose which side you are on, the good side, God's side, or the other side, right?
Take a stand always.
All correct. And to me, failures are opportunities to learn, to
Mm.
pick yourself up, to reinvent yourself, and to make things better. That's why I cannot recall some failures because I don't dwell on them so much. Sorry.
The key word is not to dwell on them.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, parang, and failures are the what's eh. The important thing about handling failure is how to deal with it. So you get up, brush off, and then run. It's like a marathon, right? You decide whether you listen to the hecklers around you and you get affected. When you fall, do you quit and give up and go to the sides, or you pick yourself up and run again, or try to catch up with everybody and you know what I mean, and finish and go to the finish line? So it's your decision.
So move forward is your advice.
That's correct. And don't dwell on it. See, that's why I don't get affected because I don't dwell on the failures.
Correct.
So
And I
I
like what you
know,
said, that, failure is an opportunity to learn, right? I think that's the mindset that most people need to take rather
and to
than
reinvent yourself.
and to reinvent yourself.
The
Perfect.
best
Because
part.
I've always looked at a different perspective. Eh. I mean, life is always about perspective. Because me, I always tell myself, and I when I mentor young people, I always tell them, you cannot control people around you, the situation or the context. You can only control yourself and your feelings and how you react.
Oh, that's very good.
So, like me, maybe I'm 28 now.
Yes.
So I'm 51 and I continue to be feeling 28. It's because I choose to be happy. So every time I go to work, I have a choice. I have a perspective to go to work being happy or go to work tired and, go to work grudgingly. I choose to be happy.
That's
Which
within
bring,
your control, right? It's all internal, all mindset. Correct.
which brings us to your portion, Paolo, on advice.
Yeah, so this is the segment where we do the generational thing. So lessons from, we heard about your lessons from your experience, your career. Now it's more of your advice for younger generations, right? So I actually was interested to learn more about. So you spent 24 years within the MPIC group, PLDT group, right? Nowadays, what's your advice to the younger generation where job hopping has now become the norm?
I don't want to be judgmental.
No, it's okay, but it seems to be a
Yeah, yeah, but there has to be a reason for that. Eh? Why do they want to job hop, right? Maybe because they want to experience other things, they want to get more exposure. Maybe for me, you can always stay in the company and explore other areas. Like say for example, if I were in finance before, and if I want to explore marketing or HR legal, then I can still be in the same PLDT company, but do a different function. That way, I'm still in the same company, still loyal, learn many other things apart from what I know, which is accounting and finance, but I get exposure to other functional areas. Maybe that's it. Because to me, if you're doing the same thing, say for example, me accounting, I go to PLDT, I go to San Miguel, it's the same accounting thing, right?
so
And if you
just move.
and if you think the bosses are going to be better there, they're not. I'm not
Oops.
saying about a specific company, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, you just have to learn how to deal with difficult people, difficult situations. To my point earlier, you have to be able to control your feelings, how you react. Because at the end of the day, you're you.
Mm,
You have to conform to whatever the company requires, right? They're not going to change themselves and reorganize themselves for you. That's not how the
Oh,
world works.
I like that.
yeah.
Okay.
Actually, a follow-up question on that. So, what's your advice, Shay, to young professionals on their approach to career development, right? Should they become experts in a specific area or should they have a diverse, broader skill set, right? Because your background, you took accountancy, you doubled down on finance, your career was finance, and then now, one of the top executives in your organization. So, what's your advice for young professionals who aspire to become top executives? Is it have a broad set of experience, or should they double down on a specific function or area?
I will have to speak based on my experience,
Yeah.
no. So to me, having an expertise would be good
Mm.
because then you're great at something. But you shouldn't stop there. You should also explore learning other things, which, made me who I am now, right? So now I'm able to understand, apply my CFO job because I've learned sustainability, I've learned Digitech, I've gone out there doing advocacies, you know what I mean? So I can synthesize everything much better. I can zoom in into the details because I'm an accountant, and I can also zoom out into a bigger picture and look at strategies. You know what I mean? So I would suggest they should have a focus or an expertise, but they should still be open, should be open to learning other things. Because
Correct.
growth should be their drive, eh. And to me, nothing and no one stunts your growth but yourself.
Correct. And I think that's a limiting belief, right? Like if you're in accounting or if you're in finance, that's the only skill set that you'll develop. But your job function does not limit the knowledge that you can acquire, right? You should also know operations, sales, to have a more sales or to have a more holistic view of
Holistic.
the entire company, right?
Because if you understand what everybody else is doing in the company, you will be much better at what you're doing.
Correct. Correct.
Because you can enable them better.
And maybe the last question for the younger generation advice is, I love to read books. Is there any book that you'd recommend for our audience to read?
Hands down, the Bible. I wish I read it sooner. Because
Okay.
everything that you need in life is there. Trust me. And to me now, maybe because I'm older, ngayon lang ako umamin na I'm older.
It's
28
okay.
na lang. 28
As
na
long
lang.
as you don't look it, that's fine. Okay.
Now it speaks to me now eh.
Yeah.
Like for example, yung obedience.
Mhm.
Obedience. I mean, it's very basic, diba? Like, why was Adam and Eve thrown out of Eden?
Yeah.
Because they were disobedient. And that started the spiraling of all the hard work, etc., the pain. And now I can apply it in my life. The reason why I became an accountant was because my parents said I should be an accountant. I did not want to be an accountant.
What did you want to be?
I wanted to be a doctor. And come to think of it, maybe that's why I'm doing MWell now. I don't know. But my sister became my sister became the doctor in the family. But my parents said you should be an accountant because my aunt was a senior partner in SGV at that time.
Okay.
So I was an obedient daughter. So I was from Leyte and then I went to Manila to be an accountant. And if I had not been obedient, I would not be where I am now, right?
I have a
Kasi
question to that. Sorry, but should parents dictate the career or the choices of their children? Kind of controversial. Because I know you're a mom, a very hands-on one.
I would say that the parents kasi have the wisdom at 'di ba? Because they're much older eh.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they know the kids better in terms of the skill set, you know what I mean? The competency. And maybe because my parents saw I was so detailed about things, and you should be an accountant.
Sure.
And look at where I am now, 'di ba? Had I not obeyed, I wouldn't be where I am. We wouldn't be talking right now. And then the obedience kasi is the first promise of God for blessings, 'di ba?
Okay.
God said if you obey your parents, then you will have a long life, you will be blessed, etc. And God is always faithful.
How do you find time? Because the Bible is it's so many chapters. How do you find time now to be able to study the Bible more in depth? Because you're very busy. I mean, your action-packed day.
So I do audio Bible when I'm on the road, when I'm preparing for work, and then when I'm traveling in the plane,
Okay. So
I read
those
and
pockets of time.
yes, yes. Little things also, like
Yeah.
my kids. I have an 8-year-old, diba?
Right.
Like we watch Bible stories, Bible on
Okay.
YouTube. So,
It's not
those
just reading it. It's really
Yeah.
living.
Actually, that's one of the hacks, especially if you're stuck in traffic, right? Rather than listen to music, audiobooks, the Bible audiobook might be a good alternative option, right?
and
So
there are many out there, many content like Bible Project for me. It made me understand the context of the Bible, etc. It's really nice. It's on YouTube. It's very parang Bible 101 siya.
well, it brings it to life. I mean, into real life, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We finished the young one. Let's now go to my age group, which is older than your age group. So, what are your key advice to senior leaders and professionals to successfully navigate the new realities of the business world, from multi-generational work teams to digital technology to AI, which you seem to have navigated very well. But for the older ones than you, what's your advice to them?
Go with the flow. It's shorter in terms of
Okay.
timeline now than before. So, for example, tech changed 5 years before. Now it's
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1, 6 months, like that. Eh. It's very fast. And you have to either ride the wave or be on top of the wave, or you be sucked into the wave and you die. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you have to be on top of it for me.
Go with the
And,
flow.
and, and you don't resist it. Don't. Because you can't. You're going to
Hard to
alienate
go against the tide, right? Yeah.
and you're going to alienate yourself
Correct.
and learn. Maybe for the older generations like ourselves.
No, higher
Maybe
than us.
ano,
In my generation.
unlearn what we've learned in the past, learn what we have, and maybe start relearning again.
Nice, very practical. All right, another very iffy conversation, usually for my generation, succession plan. What are your thoughts on succession plan?
It's very basic. You have to do it because nobody will live forever. So to me, part of our responsibility as leaders is to hone the next generation of leaders so that your life will be easy. Because me, I want to have a kick-ass team. Because if you have a kick-ass team,
Right, right.
your load, the way you lift the load is actually lighter, right? Because if it's only you, my goodness, you'll die. So for you to have a good succession plan and for you to also, be less stressed, you have to have a good team. And that's part of succession planning. And part of my role, as I see it, is to enable the next generation to fly, to succeed, to shine, and even be better than I am. That's my job, to train them to be better than me.
That's great.
Good.
And I
I
like
think
the way,
that's a mark of a great leader, Siege, no?
yeah,
The ability to build better leaders, right? And not
Of
get the
course, we have to accept it, 'di ba? You will really be stressed as a person if you think that you're the best of everything. There's no such thing. You should be chill. You should just be accepting,
I like
open,
that.
ride the wave,
Right.
and enable the next generation to succeed you.
That's the word. Enable.
I think that my success, the point of my success should be seeing my people succeed more than me. So I want them to fly, shine, expand in terms of work, etc. So me, I do meetings, even if you're not part of the whatever, come here so you will learn a thing or two.
So that's also generosity on your part, which is for charity, di ba? That's the generosity to give and to give opportunities.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, di ba, how can you be selfish about things like that? I mean, when you die, you're not going to bring everything. I can
There's
only
nothing
bring my
actually gonna
toothpick.
bring. There's nothing to bring, di ba?
Exactly. And me kasi very important to me more than the work is the personal relationship that I have with my team and my people. So I invest time in getting to know them, their kids, their families. Because sometimes people are wired differently. Even if they're good, you have to be able to push the right buttons by knowing the context of their home. Because you know what I mean? A person isn't a robot eh, di ba? They come to work with certain feelings, etc. If they're feeling down because of something, you have to understand that so that, you'd be able to talk them out of it and
Right.
then let them focus on things. So getting the best out of people at work is more than just giving them competent skills, etc., or training them. It's also investing emotionally in them and being family to them.
Engaging them.
Yeah, we consider ourselves family because we spend more time together, di ba?
Which brings me to the question, how do you balance family life? Family life and wife, mother, and your husband is in politics. How do you balance it now with your corporate life?
I all together. So my daughter was still out of school pa naman because
Yeah.
summer vacation. So I bring her and my husband also. So we get time to.
Right.
So I work during the day and I spend time with them at night or something. So at least we're together.
So is it quality time or quantity time? Which is important.
Quality.
Paolo's
quality.
gonna be a dad. Paolo's gonna be a dad soon. Yes, I'm
Kaya nga eh.
Congratulations, the best feeling in the world.
Kaya nga eh. Very timely advice. I'm expecting me and my wife are expecting this October, November. So
diba? So
yeah,
share.
first
Blessing.
time. Blessing indeed. Blessing indeed.
I've noticed that you have taken on a new advocacy or a new project, MWell. What made you take on MWell? You're already doing a lot of things. What made you take on MWell?
We had to do MWell because it's part of our healthcare business. No, it's an add-on to our hospital group where we expand our reach and our access to healthcare to everybody else outside of the geographic reach of the hospital. So MWell is the first and only integrated health and wellness
Yeah.
platform in the Philippines that's also open everywhere. So all our OFWs are able to access this. So mag-download kayo, yan.
All right. Yes,
Kasi you have to invest in your health and wellness also. So if you have MWell, you can actually consult with doctors 24/7. So consult now, consult later. And then there's also Mind Health. You can consult with counselors, psychologists, etc. And then there's fitness. If you want to have fitness programs, so you can enroll mga lean and tone, mga diabetes, ganun-ganon. So libre lahat to. And then, you can also have food and nutrition. Food and nutrition is mga recipes for
ah,
snacks, healthy
okay.
na calorific value. My favorite is M Wellness Core. Kasi, if you have your health gadgets, Apple Watch, your
Watch
Samsung Watch.
it.
I actually have a Fitbit, and now I'm
Fitbit,
considering
yung,
MWell.
yung Fitbit, you can also connect that with
Ah,
MWell.
great.
So you will get your M wellness score, your physical score, where you will show your exercise, your light activity, sedentary, your sleep, your
Oh,
steps, activities, ganyan. So this one, you will get your score. Unlike the Fitbit, you will only know your steps, your heartbeat,
right,
etc. This one gives you a health score in terms of physical. Ngayon, if you have, kasi yung sleep, number of hours lang.
right,
But the sleep kasi, what's very important is the quality of sleep.
right.
So we have our MWell ring. So
Oh,
ang suot ko tatlo kasi pag sabihin nyo, anong colors ang available? We have three: black, bronze, and silver.
With diamonds.
Pati ako, marketing. So tatlo-tatlo ang suot ko at any given point at any day. Sasabihin nyo, because it gives you here, my M Wellness ring. I will click health metrics. It gives you the details.
It's your life in your fingertips.
That's right. And it's your health metrics. And the thing about this is it's in your digital ID. So for example, if you have a doctor and there's the scan, if you allow your doctor, then
Yeah.
hindi ka na kailangan magsabi na ako ang BP ko, ganyan ito yung sakit ko,
Okay.
ganyan. So like if you also go to our hospitals,
Yes.
in time, kasi we're digitalizing them, when you go to the ER or the parang admissions, di ba, you have to fill up 10 pages.
Yes. Right. And you're really
Every
suffering.
clinic, 10 pages then. So here, you just click and then you allow them. So then all of the information will be downloaded. And the good thing about this from an AI perspective, it can do predictive analytics if you have enough data of your daily already. Na kunwari, if your score is 50, less than 50 for 1 year, you'll die in 3 years, parang ganyan. Joke lang. Or yung lifespan mo will be shorter by 2 years, mga ganyan. If
So
your score naman is 80 and above, 70 and above, then it adds 5 years, 10 years, mga ganyan.
wow.
And then the other thing is there's also a mind health score. Wait, mind health. So mind health. Kasi di ba a lot of people are depressed, the
Right.
young and the old. So my mind health scoring then. So there's a questionnaire which is the same as the World Health Organization, and then you can also do your gratitude box. So parang may self-help siya, parang AI siya, may library. Titingnan mo kung ano yung nafe-feel mo. Are you angry? And then there's like motivational whatever. And then there's also a self-compassion. So there's a message for you every day.
amazing.
Yeah.
It's
So it's the physical health
Yeah.
and the mind health. And we call it mind health because in the Philippines, if you call it mental, parang may dealing.
There's a stigma. There's a
Oo, so
still
there's
stigma.
more. So I don't want basta may lab test,
Yeah.
diagnostics, and then emergency home care. Kunyari, kailangan mo ng doctor or nurse to go to
Right.
to visit you in the hospital, merong mga ganyan. And
Okay.
then, eto then, if you want, say, dental services, we're like the Grab for everything healthcare or Uber.
Right.
You do health hub, so pwede kang, if you want to schedule digitally, kunyari, dental, you choose just the clinic, and then you click, and then you schedule digitally. It's all digital.
It's like a
wow.
concierge. It's like a medical concierge.
Yes, digitally. So that's why I'm 28.
That's why
That's the secret.
that MWell is her fountain of youth.
Yeah.
Yes, because you have to invest in your health, diba? Because if you're not healthy, then even if you're smart, even if you're the CEO of whatever, even if you're rich, diba? Even if you're an Ayala, Go Hong Wei, etc. If you're not healthy, then
Correct. I'm actually very interested. So is it a monthly thing that I get access to everything? How does it work?
you can
It's free.
download and it's free.
It's free. Oh, okay,
I
wow.
will download that. All right.
Paolo, your M Wellness score, when you connect it, you just connect it with your Fitbit via
Oh,
Bluetooth.
sige.
Then you will
I,
get your score na.
sige. I see a lot of your ads in Instagram, the ring especially. So I might get the ring and
You should
connect
get
my.
the ring with your wife para hindi na siya in sickness and in health, in wellness and in health.
I like that. I like that. Well said.
This is really good. MWell. So everybody make sure we have MWell in your phone.
At
Thanks
saka
for
ano
that.
siya, made by Filipinos.
Better yet.
Filipino IT.
Better yet. Okay. Thank you so much for the MWell portion. I think it's important, especially now that we've just gotten out of the pandemic. This is such an interesting conversation, but we're down to our last 3 questions. And since we're talking about legacy, what's been left behind, you have been involved in impactful and projects and initiatives, what legacy do you want to leave behind with your work in MPIC?
Yun nga, maybe just if I made life meaningful to them, if they learn something from me, not just maybe in terms of competence, but even from a spiritual standpoint, you know what I mean? If they became better people, became a better sister, better mom, better daughter, then I'm good.
All right. Our
Yeah.
last two questions. One of our
This,
favorite. Paolo, you
yeah,
want
this is one of my favorite questions of our segment, Siege. No, so Shay, knowing everything that you know today, what would be your advice to your 21-year-old self?
21 na.
20,
So
mga
7 years
7
ago.
years ago. Ano lang, don't be anxious and trust in God's plan and purpose. Because if you're aligned with Him, nothing will shake you. Trust me. Diba, I talked about oppressions before. Look, I'm
Right.
still here.
Right. Okay. So the last question would be, what message would you like to share to those looking up to you as a source of inspiration for their careers?
Pray, pray, pray.
Wow, that's very straightforward.
And stay humble. Because to me, if you are centered in God's grace and love, you have the holy fear of God, you will always offer everything that you do for His greater glory. And it's not about you. Eh. And if it's not about you, you're not stressed about glory, about getting recognition, about getting a pay raise, getting promotion, etc. You do everything as an offer of sacrifice and praise to God, and then everything else follows. And if you have God in your heart, in your life, you're naturally kind and you're naturally generous. And if you're selfless, then you don't get sick, you don't get stressed, you don't get angry. You know what I mean?
I knew it. This is going to be a soulful, not just insightful, but soulful. I never saw that side. Fantastic. I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shay. It was very...
I'm most welcome. We should bond, ah.
So, on that note, we say thank you again, Shay.
Thank you.
All right, Shay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ito sa, medyo kurot sa puso.
Yeah,
Kasi,
I enjoyed our segment. Galing ng I learned a lot. I'm sure a lot of our listeners will learn a lot as well.
Ako masasabi ngayon, I'm starstruck. You said that you told Rico he saw that. So now I'm saying it. I'm in awe. Okay? I'm in awe. So, friends, that is Shay Cabal Revilla, Executive Vice President, Chief Finance Officer, and Chief Sustainability Officer, plus CEO of MWell, of the Metro Pacific Investment Corporation. Also Superwoman, also Catalyst, also friend. Thank you so much. Friend of the school, friend of the Alumni Association. Shay, thank you so much.